Welcome back. This is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds. How's everybody doing? First off, I just want to say thank you all for continuing to watch the show, watch the videos, subscribing, liking the videos. Just want to say thank you for all the support and everything. We're up to 16 subscribers. I kind of want to get this up to 50 subscribers by the end of the month, but not end of the month, end of next month. We'll see about that. So today is more of an opinion piece today. It is going to be talking about the 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway podcast. So this is more of a wrestling podcast, and also kind of talking about the interview that Matt Lyda had with Maven, and also talking about my thoughts on the 6 Feet Under podcast with now Michelle McCool. So let's start off with the bit of a history or brief history about the 6 Feet Under podcast. So it started off like late 2023, early 2024 between Matt and Mark Calloway, also known as The Undertaker. And from all accounts, based off of what I found in the Maven interview and what has been talked about in the past on the 6 Feet Under podcast, is that Matt came to Mark and said, look, there's an audience that wants to hear about the stories about your match. And Taker was not on board, but eventually Matt came around a second time, and with the help of Michelle McCool, they was able to convince Undertaker to essentially go ahead and greenlit the podcast. And at first, both admitted that the first run, the first episode, the first recording, whatever it was not that good and was not up to the standards of The Undertaker, so they went ahead and reshoot it. And that was pretty much the birth of the 6 Feet Under podcast with Mark Calloway. And as somebody that likes to watch wrestling shoot interviews, especially with the old timers, because I think their stories are more interesting, and pretty much the road days are done, so now you get the full picture of what they tell us about what's going on. I thought that the podcasts were very compelling. I thought the stories were compelling. It had such a friendly vibe. It was something where it was just basically two guys just essentially shooting the shits and bringing in a guest, and Undertaker interviewing them, Matt interviewing them, good questions. I thought the advertising spots were okay. Happy dads and stuff like that. It felt genuine. It felt like we were seeing a side of The Undertaker that we weren't seeing before. And I know that Matt got a lot of flack for being a bad co-host and just people found him boring. But I think a lot of people, especially towards the end of the original 6 Feet Under run, is a lot of people started to see the growth in Matt. And I started seeing the growth in Matt. He got more comfortable in front of the camera. He got more comfortable behind the microphone. And his personality, although kind of a bit of a dry humor personality as he comes off as, I thought his personality started to shine more. He started to embracing some of the negative comments, some of the negative comments that he had, and he turned it into his own without trying to outshine The Undertaker. I thought they meshed so well. And it felt like it felt like we were getting a side of The Undertaker we never got. We got stories that we never heard. We got to see Undertaker's human personality show more. We got to see why he was so beloved in the locker room back in his day, why people gravitate towards him. And we were really starting to get a relaxed, calm, natural Undertaker. Even with the long form podcast that Michelle McCool was on, that episode, he was more of, I'm kicking it with the boys, I'm hunting, I'm drinking beer, drinking whiskey, whatever you want to call it. I'm kicking it with them, and you guys are getting to see it. And the channel actually eclipsed over 700,000 subscribers. So, I mean, this channel was very successful on its own. It grew an audience. It was big. It was huge. And it competed with Maven. Maven's channel. And to think that, now, by the way, before I bring up this point, Matt brought up in the Maven interview that he got the inspiration off of Maven. Maven, this mid 2000s mid card guy, has a good story, but nonetheless lower to mid card guy, and he's popping off. Maven is popping off. Now, Maven wasn't the first to do it. Maven is the to me, Maven wasn't the first, but Maven was the best. The first one I can really think of that's kind of a Maven format, kind of like a Devon format, is Steven Richards. A lot of people it seemed like a lot of people seem to forget that Steven Richards kind of started this off first, and Maven kind of made it into his own and made it better. So to see Maven get that credit, that is very much well deserved, is amazing. So Matt admitted that, hey, we got the inspiration from you, Maven, and it was a big deal to see Maven on Undertaker's show and Undertaker on Maven's show. It was a huge deal amongst the internet wrestling community, and it was such a huge deal to see, Maven get to tell his story with a main eventer like Undertaker, and them describing their rivalry that they had. It was short lived, but a very memorable rivalry between these two guys, and it actually, regardless of how you view Maven, that rivalry set up this YouTube channel that Maven has right now. People still remember Maven, even if they don't remember anything else. Him with Simon Dean, him with his little heel run back in late 2004, early 2005 that led to him being with Simon Dean, or just Maven being hardcore champion. Everybody remembers Maven and Undertaker. Maven eliminated Undertaker. Undertaker with one of the most brutal chair shots to the head in wrestling history to Maven. Everybody remembers that, and because of that, Maven was able to have this channel that he has now. Now he's doing these interviews, and he's visiting different wrestlers, and linking up with wrestlers he might talked about on camera but not right in front of them. And Maven's creating great content. I gotta give Maven his flowers. I know everybody's giving Maven his flowers, and I got it too as well. It's very well done. I can't stop watching Maven's YouTube channel. Every time he uploads, I'm there watching it. Very, very fantastic work. So it was a big deal to see Maven on 6 Feet Under, and it was a big deal to see Undertaker on Maven's show. And both shows benefited from each other. Believe it or not, in my opinion, I think Maven was able to put Undertaker over in wrestling terms. Like, I think Undertaker, I wouldn't say didn't need it because it is the Undertaker, but I think it definitely helped advance the growth of the 6 Feet Under podcast. And I think as well, it made Maven look more legitimate to people who might have forgotten about Maven, in the sense of, they still watch wrestling. Everybody knows who the Undertaker is, but maybe they've forgotten about Maven and Undertaker, even though most wrestling fans remember that. You might have your casual fan that doesn't know Maven, or you might have a new wrestling fan that doesn't know Maven, and now they go over to Maven's side and they're like, wait, this guy wrestled, he knows what he's talking about, and it's very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable. I'm not the biggest fan of, not the biggest fan of exposing too much, and I always say that Maven doesn't expose too much of the wrestling business while also respecting the wrestling business and educating the fans without overly exposing it, unlike WWE on the real. So this is how I see this next part. I see this next part as, and I think a lot of people has been in this position. You go to a job, been working there for a while, you like where you're at, maybe you don't like where you're at. Either way, you have a purpose of why you got to keep going to the job, whether it's to pay bills, whether it's to, get your life back in order. Maybe you actually like the job that you're at, whatever the case may be. And you work all day. You put your effort in, you work, you done spent your time, you done spent your gas, you done spent your resources. You worked 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, whatever the case may be. You worked a whole shift. And by the end of your shift, you get called into the office and they let you know that we're no longer going with you. We're firing you, we're laying you off, whatever it may be. Or maybe you get a phone call. And there's a lot of emotions that come through with this, but at least for me, the number one thing is, man, why didn't you just fire me at the beginning of the day so I can go enjoy the rest of my day? Like, you really used me to go to do your bidding, essentially. Like, you used me to get whatever you needed to push out for the day, and then you're going to let me go. You could have just fired me. I could have went out to go look for another job. I could have did something productive for my day. I could have did some housework. I could have did anything, right? But I took the time out because it's my responsibility, my obligation to do that. And I bring that scenario up because when Matt described how he found out that Undertaker was going to take the podcast. By the way, that Matt started. Let's be 100% clear on this. Let's be 100% clear. Let's be, as Raider Ragu say, 1,000 wow. Matt started this podcast. And Taker, yes, Taker's name is on it. Yes, Taker is a star. But Matt started this. Like, Taker would not. Let's make that abundantly clear. Mark Calloway, Undertaker would not be doing this podcast, whether it's with Matt or Michelle, if it wasn't for Matt. Undertaker had no interest. I'm pretty sure Undertaker didn't mind going on this show, that show, to do shoot interviews. We kind of saw that in the early phases when he first retired. He didn't have an issue going on ESPN and going on this show and going on this internet show or going on. I think he did a Joe Rogan experience, but don't exactly quote me on that. But he didn't mind doing that. So we always knew Undertaker was going to be available for interviews. But this format, this production, his actual personality, no pressure to be a professional, he wouldn't be doing this without Matt. So for Undertaker to go, and however which way y'all want to put it, it was a backdoor deal from Matt's point of view. Matt does all this work. He does the promos, does whatever he has to do because the show is his and it's his responsibility. Just like it is Mark Calloway's, but it's his. It's his baby. He's grown to love it. He's grown as a co-host. He's grown as an interviewer. And in the parking lot or in the building, wherever they were at, he gets informed by Undertaker himself that he has sold, as in Mark Calloway, as in The Undertaker, has sold the rights and the production and whatever it may be. It's going over to WWE. It's going to be on WWE channel. WWE is running it. WWE is producing it. Everything. And basically, in a nice, friendly way, Undertaker just said, good luck on your future endeavors to Matt. Now, Matt, to his credit, this is kind of like the character that he's shown, right? And kind of shows the man that he is. He doesn't hold any grudge. He doesn't hold bitterness. He doesn't hold any ill will towards the Undertaker. And he's showing that he hasn't shown. He's shown that he isn't that way. And he has also shown that he's okay with the decision. He's not let it linger on. And he's actually, okay, what's the next move for me? And now he's doing the White Trash podcast. But I think all of us as humans, especially when it happens to be our friend that does it, have to feel a little backstabbed. It wasn't like Taker went to Matt and was like, hey, I got an offer from WWE. This is what they're offering. This is what I'm thinking about doing. I want to bring you along. I want to try to bring you along. Or, hey, I'm not going to bring you along. They want to do it. And they offer to do it with Michelle McCool. Or I want Michelle. I want my wife in it. Whatever the situation may be. There was no heads up. Matt has made it very clear. Whether it was on Maven's show or the White Trash Boys. I think that's what it's called. White Trash Boys show. That he did not know this was going to happen. This was essentially a quote-unquote slap in the face. You may not have said those words, but that's exactly what it is. It's Undertaker doing a deal behind his friend's back that, by the way, Taker would not be doing whatsoever. And it's something like that that shows the character of the type of man that Undertaker is. I know business is ruthless. I know that the wrestling business is ruthless and it's cutthroat. But to break bread with somebody, to go hunting with somebody, to hang out with somebody, to call somebody a near and dear friend. I'm not talking about from Matt's point of view. I'm talking about from Taker's point of view. You can have conversation with this guy. Even Matt has said it. Like, I have had conversations, the best of the best conversations where I'm having my best day, and I've had conversations where I'm losing that day and I have bawled my eyes out and cried. And Undertaker has said, it's okay, let it out. Some real friend shit. How can you do that to somebody that you call your friend? How can you do that to somebody that calls you in their time of need and at their best moments? Somebody that looks up to you. Let's be real. I think people don't want to admit that we look up to other grown people, but let's admit it, we do, right? And the thanks for putting me out there, letting me shine, letting this grow, growing the channel, grinding, hustling hard to get these guests, to get these sponsors. My thank you to you is doing a backdoor business deal with the company I worked for 30 years. To me, that's shady. And it's plain on fucked up. I mean, it's plainly fucked up on so many levels. Like, how do you not give your friend a heads up like, hey, this is happening. This is happening. Or, hey, this is in the works. I don't know if it's going to happen, but if it does happen, I'm going to let you know. How do you not be honest? Even if you don't want to bring them forward, even if you're afraid of his reaction, if you sit back and say, hey, this is what's going on and and I'm not moving along with you, I'm bringing my wife onto the show, you're not going to produce or whatever it may be. Even if you're afraid of that, how do you not be just man enough and just face the reaction regardless? How do you not go to your friend and go, hey, just a heads up, WWE wants to do the show on their platform. Now, Matt is happy about the show. Matt is happy that Taker got it. I genuinely don't think it's a PR thing. I genuinely think he's at peace with it. Like some people was like, oh, he's trying to. No, I think he's genuinely at peace at what happened. Excuse me. But Undertaker, how can you do that to somebody? And that kind of just shows like Taker would do anything and cut any throat that's not named his wife for business. That's a cutthroat move, plain and simple. Plain and simple. He fired Matt right then and there. And didn't let the person who helped run the show, build the show, created the show, who brought it to your attention. And when you initially said no, he brought it to your attention again because he saw it was a good idea. Not for him, but for you. For you. You don't get that deal without Matt. You don't do that show without Matt. And now watch this new version of this show. I watched this new version of this show with Michelle. And it's like, it's not there. It's not there. And it's not me trying to sound bitter because it went corporate. It's not me trying to say, well, I want Matt. It's not that at all. It's, you can tell Undertaker's in husband mode. You can tell Undertaker's not being him all the way through. And now it's just them exchanging love stories, and it's just them being husband and wife. I have no issue with a husband and wife doing things together. No issue with them showcasing their love. But it's like Michelle adds nothing to the show. And Michelle adds nothing to the show. And on top of that, it's already a PR nightmare because, well, I wouldn't say nightmare, but it's not a good PR scenario especially knowing that Michelle McCool replaced Mickey James on LFG, and then Michelle McCool gets in the Hall of Fame. And I'm trying to figure out I think Mickey is in the Hall of Fame, but it's like, it's like it comes off. Let's be real here, nepotism. It's nepotism. She's the Undertaker's wife. Do I think she gets into the Hall of Fame without Undertaker's wife? Eventually, not this soon. Do I think she becomes the co-host of 6 Feet Under with The Undertaker, not with Mark Calloway? No. But clearly, somebody, and I don't want to say, well, Undertaker went to the higher ups in WWE and vouched for a wife. It could have been somebody's call to go, hey, we're doing this, but we're not bringing Matt along. We want your wife to join. What makes you think Undertaker gonna say no to that? And I'm watching it, and I'm listening to it, and I'm listening to it on the way home from work. And man, I swear I almost fell asleep behind the wheel. Like it was boring. It was bland. The setup in the first episode in particular was just like loaded with fanatic shit. Like the Fanatics ad, and then the Fanatics college championship belts that's overpriced and all that crap. Like, it's just meh. It's just meh. And that's how I felt about when they interviewed Gunther. Like, if it would have just been Gunther, Matt, and Undertaker, or even Gunther and Undertaker, it would have just been better. Like, Michelle adds nothing. Matter of fact, she kind of subtracts things. And I know they're on, like, episode 4 or 5 or whatever it may be, and maybe she'll grow into it. But considering the fact that she was a WWE talent, she is a WWE Hall of Famer, she is used to being behind the microphone, she knows how to bring out personality. For her to be this dry and this boring is kind of unacceptable. It kind of is. Like, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't, because it's 4 episodes in. But it's like you did this before. Maybe not in a podcast environment, but you've done mic work in front of people, in a room full of people, in an arena full of people. Now you're doing it on a studio set or in the ring, whatever you want to call it. So my point is that the show will be very missed. And it already is. I look at the comment section, is we want Matt and Michelle sucks and all this other stuff. That tends to happen, but it's definitely lost its edge. It's not the same. And kind of expected that when, the announcement happened and all that, but I'm just highly disappointed that The Undertaker would do a backdoor deal on somebody he calls a friend. And me personally, I have to admit that I don't think I will have the capability. I won't even say capability. I don't think I would be as forgiving. I think eventually I would be, but it's like Matt handled it smoothly. And I was still like, I would be forgiving, but I would look at somebody sideways after that. And I would definitely wouldn't say, hey, I can still call him no matter what, no matter how hard it would be to let that relationship go. That's just me personally. Like, me personally, I wouldn't. Somebody did a backdoor deal on that, especially if, like, I'm the one who helped you bring you out and stuff like that. Yeah, I might be cool with you. I might forgive you, but I don't think I could break bread with you no more. I don't think I could talk to you no more. I don't think I can go on hunting trips with you no more. Or anything that we used to do. I don't think I could do that no more, because you show me that when you feel like it's necessary, you would stab me in the back and smile in my face. And that's what Undertaker did. He sold the podcast. Now, whatever the deal was contractually, to where maybe it did go to Mark majority way because his name was on it. Who knows what the contracts were between Matt and Mark. But to still look at your friend in the face and go, hey, by the way, I've already sold and you're not coming along. That's fucked up, Taker. It's fucked up. And Matt, he seems like he's bouncing back well. But 6 Feet Under with Undertaker, it's kind of a ironic name for the podcast. because it's damn sure 6 feet under. And my respect for Undertaker, all pun intended, all irony intended, has gone 6 feet under. Thank you for watching.